Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm going to be showing you how to create a dynamically increasing fill bar like you see here. And this can be used for basically any stat that you want your player to be able to improve throughout the game. And instead of just having like a little number here that shows them that they've increased stamina or something like that, or health, you want to actually have a larger fill bar. Okay, so how are we going to do this? First thing we're going to need to do is create a widget. We'll call this power up. And we'll open this guy up. And I'm just going to throw in one progress bar in here and expand that out a little bit. Set the percent. And I'm going to set this size to 275 on the X. And this is going to be important because we're going to need this size later, so make it a number that is easy to work with. So I picked 275. And we can compile and save this. Then you can go into your character, blueprint, or whatever you want. Just going to go right here and unhook this. And we'll create the widget. I'll hook it up to your player controller. And then we'll right click here and make a variable. And you can add it to viewport. Okay, now that we're done with that, what we want to do is say off of like the L key or anything that you guys want. Obviously in a real game this will be some pickup and overlap event, whatever it is. I'm going to grab our power up reference and I'm going to get the progress bar. And then we're going to do a little bit of math here. We're going to need to create some variables. First one I'm going to create is the size X. And this variable we have to compile and set to exactly the same size that we had in the power up. So you see our progress bar size X is 275. And just make sure that this variable size X is also 275. So we're going to take this out, get it, and then we're going to divide by a float. And this is just a number I found. I'm sure somebody that knows the engine better can probably tell me why this is 40, but it's like a pixel shift that you have to do. Because remember, we're taking our progress bar, we're increasing the size, so we're increasing the scale, but we also need to move it over. We need to translate it. So we're going to say set render scale, and we're going to set render translation. If you don't do this, your progress bar will grow at both ends, which maybe that's what you want, maybe not. I'm just going for a traditional, like the progress bar starts on the right hand side and you just want it to, or on the left hand side and you want it to slowly increase towards the right hand side. Okay. We're not really going to worry about anything in the Y. The only thing you need to make sure you do here for the scale is make sure you have 1 here so that that doesn't change. The translation Y you don't have to worry about at all. Then we're going to take this and we're going to multiply by a float. And this is what we're going to plug into translation X. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to say add float to a float. And we're going to add 1 here. And the thing that we're going to want here, we're going to promote this to a variable. We'll just call this current scale. And we can compile, save. You can set this to whatever you want. I'm going to start with something like 0.25. And then we're going to need to divide this by a float. And you divide this by 0.05. Again, this is another number just like this 40. I'm not exactly sure why it's 0.05, but it has to do with the scaling and pixels and things. And then we're going to use this to multiply by our size x here. And finally, we're going to take this, we're going to put this into the scale x. So we start with 1 and we add 0.25, so it's going to grow by 25% of whatever the original size x scale was, so that's 1 here. And then we're going to want to add another float, and we'll right click here and promote this to a variable, and we'll call this increase current scale. And this is just how much you want the power up or whatever is going to be affecting this scale to grow the scale by. So you can add this like 0.25, and then we're going to need to set this current scale, so drag out and hold Alt, and we'll set it to this value here. That way each time you go through this loop, the current scale won't constantly stay at 0.25, because remember, this is what's actually setting how large the progress bar is going to be. So if you don't change this value every time you get a power up or something, it's just going to set it to 1.25. So that's what this variable is for here. So each power up is going to increase that by another 25%. So we can compile and save. And now if we hit play, we'll hit the L key, and as you can see, our progress bar is growing across the screen. Alright guys, I hope you thought that was helpful, and if it was, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more tutorials. Alright, see you guys later.